Hey guys, Chris Olka here with another T&E video featuring the Wessex Chicago models of 6/4 orchestral double C tuba. There are two models. There's the Chicago Presence, which has an 18-inch bell, and the Chicago York, which has a 20-inch bell. That's the primary difference, and we'll go into more detail in a second about what that means sound-wise, but they're 100% handmade large bore orchestral piston valve C tubas, 4 pistons and a 5th thumb rotor that's a flat hull step. The backstory is, I believe, over the last year or more, Wessex has been in the process of developing these tubas, and Jonathan Hodgetts brought them to the 2018 Army Band Tuba Euphonium Conference in Washington, D.C. this year. And they caused a big splash. There was a big stir about these tubas, and there was a lot of people that have been clamoring for me to review them now that I'm doing these T&E videos. So when Jonathan was done in Washington, D.C., he took them on a short tour of the mid-Atlantic region of the United States, and then drove down to Texas for the TMEA festival down there where he displayed them. And then on his way back up to his headquarters, I believe up in Michigan, he swung by my house in northern Kentucky and dropped off a few tubas for me to do videos on. And these are 2 of them. So let's jump right in. Thank you, by the way, to Jonathan Hodgetts for bringing these horns. Again, as I said, they're all handmade instruments. The build quality is really good. I've seen and owned a number of European and German handmade instruments over the last 20 plus years. And my opinion, having handled these 2 tubas for a couple of weeks and seen them on a daily basis, is that they're on par with any of those manufacturers. They're not giving up anything in terms of build quality or consistency of construction. Nothing feels cheap. These don't feel like cheap instruments or student level instruments. The valves on both are very smooth. There's no drag in the pistons. They don't stick. As long as you keep them oiled, they feel great. You know, the thumb rotor, this thumb rotor, is a very light, fast, and positive action, and it's very ergonomic. I like it a lot. The valve slides all seem to be parallel and airtight. They're smooth, depending on what kind of grease or oil you put on them. No issues there. I mean, like I said, there's nothing that feels cheap about these tubas at all. These feel like European handmade quality instruments. I will say the one thing that I find kind of cool is that the valve buttons, I think you can see it in the video here, Jonathan has had the valve buttons engraved with these wyverns, these dragons with a sharp pointy tail on them. And that's kind of neat. It certainly looks cool, and I'm sure that you'll sound even better with the cool looking valve buttons. Anyway, let's get into the specifics. So again, Chicago Presence has the 18-inch bell. Chicago York has a 20-inch bell. Sound and response and intonation from top to bottom of these tubas is very even, very consistent, and very light. Remarkably easy tubas to play in all registers. Most notably, how easily they respond in the low register. I have to say, most York tubas are not known for how accessible or easy they are to play in the low register. That's just kind of a design component that most York tubas seem to have, is that you have to make the low register happen. It's not going to happen for you. These tubas, however, they respond well above average. They have some of the best responding low registers I've experienced on these type of tubas. And I think that's in large part to the lead pipe design that has contributed to these instruments' success down there. Chuck Nichols is Wessex tuba designer / consultant for low brass, and he told me on the phone the other day that he went through, I think he said like 5 or 6 different lead pipe designs before he finally found one that really unlocked the potential of a low register and made it easy to play. And I have to say, my experience having played these tubas for the last couple of weeks is that was a success on his part. So congratulations to Chuck for that lead pipe design, if that's in fact what's helping the low register, because these are easy to play in the low register. You don't have to do anything funny on them. The receivers are a little bit, they're not a large receiver nor a small. It's kind of like a hybrid middle ground receiver. So I think you can probably use either a large / European shank or a small / American shank, and probably be fine with either. In my testing, I preferred the A shank, the American shank mouthpieces that I have when I was testing them. So your mileage may vary. It's going to be personal preference, but that's where I was at with them. So let's talk about the differences in the sound between the 18 and 20. When I first got these tubas, initially I preferred the 20-inch bell because that's what I've always played on my York style tubas that I've had over various years and manufacturers. And that's kind of what I expect. So naturally I was drawn to pick up the 20, and I picked it up, and it gave me what I was expecting. As time progressed, I found myself picking up the 18-inch bell model with increasing frequency because it's just a little bit handier. It's a little bit more responsive. It's a little brighter sound. It's a little more projecting, and it just feels a little easier to play. Every tuba is going to be some combination of compromises. And I will say that if I could only have one orchestra C tuba, and it was one of these two, I'd probably go with the 20-inch model because of the way that I play. I tend to be a little more aggressive when I play. I kind of push the sound and drive it a little bit. And with the 20-inch bell, it kind of knocks off the rough edges in my playing. And so I tend to prefer the 20-inch bell instrument. The 18-inch bell, though, it's a lot of fun to play. If that was the only tuba I had, I'd probably get the hand a bit, like I said, because I tend to push the sound, and the 18-inch is just going to amplify that. But I want to speak to that for a second before I go into more details. I feel like there's tons of different styles and approaches of playing the tuba. And I'd say that the beauty in having these two models is that it gives you options to enhance your strengths and kind of bolster some of your weaknesses. If you're a player like me that tends to drive the sound, put a lot of center in there, and be a little more aggressive in your approach, the 20-inch bell is probably going to be the way you want to go. Because, like I said, it will act as a nice natural counterbalance to that kind of aggressive approach. If you want to spin up the sound on the 20-inch bell, no problem. But you're not going to go there by accident. If you're, on the other hand, a type of player that kind of lays back and plays with a little more mellifluous sound, a little broader, and for lack of a better way to put it, a little tubbier and a little less clear, the 18-inch bell is going to get that center that you don't naturally bring to your playing. It's going to get that naturally. And so I think, again, that will be a nice balance. The beautiful thing, again, though, is that you've got options. If I were going to have two tubas, I'd probably have both in the stable so that I can pick and choose. The 20-inch bell, generally speaking, is a broader, wider, more omnipresent sound. It's a little darker, and it just tends to be a little more blending in the orchestra. When I played it in the orchestra, the 20-inch bell allows me to tuck into the bass section, and when I want to, I can step out front and center, but generally if I want to hang back and just provide support within the orchestra, the texture, the 20-inch really helps me. If I want to point and shoot and send artillery charges out into the audience, the 18-inch bell that would be what I would go for. This week in the Cincinnati Pops, we're doing Cirque de la Symphony, and that book has got big in-your-face movie music. It's got John Williams fanfares. It's got science fiction soundtracks, and it's got Ride of the Valkyries in there. It's got everything that anybody would ever want to play on the tuba. And I find that I decided to take the 18-inch bell because we've got a guest conductor, and I'm getting a little rambunctious, and the 18 is a lot of fun to play in the orchestra. It puts some grins on the trombone section's faces when I play some of the low stuff. So like I said, it's nice to have options, and it's great that Wessex is giving you those options. Let's see here. I think that that's pretty much it. I want to make a note about the excerpts that I've recorded for this video. Usually when I'm reviewing just one tuba, I'll play longer video or longer excerpts and more of them. But I think mostly you guys will get benefit from being able to hear the differences. I got in as big a room as I could, and again, I'm only recording on my iPad. But if you listen with a good set of headphones, I think that you will be able to hear the difference between the 18-inch bell and the 20-inch bell. In the videos, I always do the 18-inch bell first, and then immediately go to the 20-inch bell, and I'm going to try and edit it so that they're short excerpts and you can hear A, 18, B, 20. And I think that that will provide more help to you if you're considering these tubas for purchase. So again, thanks to Jonathan Hodgetts and Chuck Nichols for his work on behalf of Wessex for making two really fine models. If you like these videos, click like and subscribe in the section below, and look for some more videos forthcoming. Jonathan left me another instrument that is extremely interesting to me, and that'll probably be my next T&E video coming out in the next week or two. So thanks again, hope the video helps, and enjoy the video.